A tropical storm is expected to form over the northern Gulf of Mexico by Thursday, the National Hurricane Center said, prompting the city of New Orleans to begin closing floodgates, officials to warn residents and oil companies to start shutting down offshore platforms and coastal operations. Forecasters said the weather system is expected to keep gaining strength as it moves west, and become a hurricane on Friday. The storm, which would be the first tropical system to strike the United States this hurricane season, was south of the Florida Panhandle on Wednesday. Once its sustained winds reach or exceed 39 miles an hour, making it officially a tropical storm, it will be given the name Barry. Its expected path would bring it ashore in Louisiana or East Texas sometime on Saturday. The developing system was already causing widespread street flooding and power failures in New Orleans on Wednesday, including on Bourbon Street in the French Quarter. Water spouts formed near the city, and some neighborhoods received more than 8 inches of rain in 3 hours. The National Weather Service issued flash flood emergencies, its highest alert level for flooding on Wednesday, for Orleans and Jefferson parishes in Louisiana. The agency urged officials and residents along the Gulf Coast to review their hurricane plans, because of the threat of high winds and significant flooding from heavy rainfall and storm surge in parts of Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and East Texas. Governor John Bel Edwards of Louisiana declared a state of emergency on Wednesday. The system will likely produce storm surge, hurricane-force winds, and up to 15 inches of rain across the state, he said. This is going to be a Louisiana event that impacts every part of the state, and no one should take this storm lightly. National Guard troops and high-water vehicles will be stationed across the state to provide assistance, he said. Mayor LaToya Cantrell of New Orleans said on Wednesday that she was not yet sure whether the city would call for voluntary or mandatory evacuations. At an afternoon news conference, she asked residents to shelter in place in the meantime. The Gulf region faces the threat of tropical storms and hurricanes every summer and fall, but there is an added complication this year. Heavy snowfall on the Great Plains over the winter and relentless rains in the spring have already swollen the region's bayous and the Mississippi River and its tributaries, which drain to the Gulf. That has left the region's levee systems with much less room than usual to absorb additional water. With days of heavy rain on the way, the Mississippi River is expected to crest at New Orleans this weekend at close to 20 feet. The city's levees along the river are between 20 and 25 feet high, according to Ricky Boyer, the spokesman for the Army Corps of Engineers in the New Orleans district. We'll be getting to the top of some of our lower levees if the forecast holds, he said, cautioning that it was still early to lock in a prediction. Mr. Boyer said the Army's team of engineers was trying to identify any low areas and reinforce them. We're not concerned with integrity of the levees, he said, only with how high the water rises. Hurricanes have struck Louisiana in July 3 times in 168 years of record-keeping. All have occurred in the last 40 years. Experts say that trend can attribute it in part to climate change warming the waters of the Gulf of Mexico. New Orleans has always been a place where heavy rains fell, but the inundations in recent days and what is expected from the latest storm are consistent with climate change's effects. Warmer air holds more moisture, which then comes down in the form of extremely heavy rainfall. Loyola University New Orleans, which was flooded in spots on Wednesday, announced that it would cancel classes and close its campus on Thursday and Friday, as other colleges in the city have. If this were occurring during the more crowded fall semester, we might try to stay open tomorrow, Tanya Tetlow, the president of Loyola, said in a statement to employees and students. But I'm conscious of the fact that many of you are recovering from this morning and have work to do to get ready for the weather ahead.